来欢迎讲者，谢谢。
Hello, everyone. Oh, okay. 你好. That's it. That's my Chinese. Okay, so like I said, today we're going to talk about how I can have my blog schedule and promote myself. How many people here are blogging online? Oh, okay. Good, at least one. But just in case, I mean, now you may not think about it, but that in the futures, one of the part of being a software engineer is to how to share your knowledge back to the community. So this has become one of my, daily routine. And when I talk about writing, initially, I always think of, well, I just want to write, right? I just need to sit down, write a blog post, and publish it. Well, eventually you can use any content service management like Medium or like Dev2 or Hackernoon, something like that, to post your article, and it does everything for you. That's very simple, right? But in fact, when you talk about writing and publishing, it have more things behind the scene. So writing is part of it. But then after you write your blog post, you still need to edit it. And to make sure that you don't have any grammar mistake, you don't have something that doesn't sound right, it's not engaging, you need to schedule, you don't want to write it and publish immediately. You want to schedule, let's say, for 1 week, 2 weeks later, something like that. Of course, you write is good, but a good article is nothing without audience. So you still need to promote it. And lastly, after you promote it, you publish it, you have to monitor how it's going, whether it reached the people they're supposed to be, how it's ranking on Google Chrome, for example. So all of that, I can tell you, it's not that easy. So for writing, I chose the most basic writing in Markdown format. So I have a website that working, because I'm a front-end engineer. So I like to build everything myself. So I have a website, and in my website, I host my blog, which written in Markdown format. Anyone here familiar with Markdown format? It's the most basic thing that you can just write it with some Markdown, and then it render nicely if you have the right renderer for Markdown. And then, after I write it, I actually need to pass it to some sort of grammar checker. So before I used to use Grammarly to do like grammar check-in, dictation check, or even ask someone to review it. Nowadays, much easier because I just need to use AI. Still, it's not 100% bulletproof. And of course, you need to have more stuff like metadata, tags, SEO is important, summary of your blog post. You write it, and then you need to think, okay, what is my blog post is talking about? It's not that easy. A cover image, I need to design the cover image, so what you see, what you get, what you see, what you see, what you get, whatever. So the first thing people see in your blog post is the cover image. And if it's not interesting enough, you don't get people to read it. And then you have to review the content before publishing, before scheduling actually. So I don't have a lot of time. I mean, if you become a software engineer, at a certain point, you don't have a lot of time spending to write and then hit the publish. You want to publish it like regularly. So in here, maybe you want to use a cron job. So you can use GitHub Actions for that. But then, because I'm also put the Markdown format, I save at the Markdown 5 inside my repo in GitHub. So I need to actually make a commit, schedule some jobs to run, to make the commit, to make sure that that file is published. Like it changed the metadata to be published in order to appear on my website. And because I'm using Netlify, like Verso, to deploy my website, so this is triggered automatically, at least. And because I don't want just to publish my article on my website, because my website may not have enough attraction, I still need to cross-post it, say on Medium, on Dev2. Anyone here familiar with Dev2? Okay, Medium? Good. And so basically, that's the platform, the third-party platform that allow you to publish your article and have follower in that. But those platforms, not everyone have an API. So usually you have to copy and paste or copy your URL, the blog post URL, and then it generates for you, and then it adds the canonic URL back to your blog. A lot of works. And after you schedule it or publish it, whatever, you still need to think how are you going to promote it. Nowadays, we have social platform. We have Twitter, we have, well, we call it X now, but it's really hard to say X for that platform. So Twitter, and you have LinkedIn, and maybe not Instagram, but Facebook. And recently, we have something called Blue Sky, when no one actually uses it. It's trying to replace Twitter, but anyway. So each of them have a different format, different audience. So you cannot use one blog post of one social media content to publish all of them. Let's say Twitter is limited to some 200 and something character, but LinkedIn, you can post like an essay on it. People will read it. On Facebook, you may be more casual, less like professional like LinkedIn and so on. So you need to check how are you going to generate the blog post and how the content to promote your blog post per social platform. And then how you're going to schedule, how you're going to post it. You can use some third party that help you to schedule it, but most of the time you can't. It costs money also. So what are you going to do? You have to do manually. And lastly, after you publish it, you still need to go to the third party cross-platform to manually set your article to publish. And then you need to run the job, and you need to validate that the job is the social media contents is promoting itself, it's doing good, the contents appear correctly, have engagement, and so on and so forth. Now let's guess, how much time all of this taken? Who say 1 hour? Who say 3 hours?
2 days.
Oh, you closed. Well, I measure myself. And 3 hours, half an hour, 4 hours to a day for the social media platform, depend on how fast I am, or if I have a brighter blog, then that's it. In half an hour, maybe. Totally, all of that's about more than 9 hours, plus writing time. This is like 9 hours without writing. So I used to do something like this. I plan to release a blog on Wednesday. In the morning Wednesday, I sit down and I start preparing for all my content on the social media like promotion. By the end of the time when I click on publish and I publish everything, it's become end of the day. Couldn't do anything. It's very hard. And every post repeated itself. It consuming time, consuming energies, and consuming a lot of context, which for me, I also have a full-time job. And this is exactly me afterwards. The whole day just gone like that. So, luckily, we have AI now. Everyone knows that AI is supposed to replace you, right? No, it's not. Well, what if I can actually build a whole agent, an AI agent that do everything for me, except writing, of course. Well, let's take a look. I call it the solutions, call it 4A. I can write once and automate the rest. So these solutions, we call it building an AI agent that will help you to alter, augment, arrange, and amplify your blog post. So it's just another way to say that alter means writing, augment is mean edit, arrange means schedule, and promote and publish, amplify. This is how it works. So what's behind the scene? So the flow become like this. I write, the robot, or you can call it the agent, the AI agent, will enhance it, edit it, and basically, what's going on here? It's like lunchtime or something. Anyway, the agents enhance, the flow, the blog post for me. And it also auto schedule according to what I wanted to schedule. And finally, it will create a social media post, do other things like cross-posting, and promote it on our social platform. Which, behind the scene, the LM agent, which is the AI agent, will help to execute this task. So initially, I use LangChain tool and adapter. Anyone here know what is LangChain? So yeah, LangChain is a very good tool, very good framework that for making connecting AI, LM, and all the execution tools. So I built some sort of a workflow that empowered by LangChain, and then connect to the API of every single platform. But then soon it become very, very hard to maintain because it's become not scalable. Because when I want to ask another task, it's very hard to decide when to ask, because you actually have to build a flow yourself. For that, I changed it to use MCP protocol. So, but then, what is MCP, LM, and LangChain? Since here, like 1 or 2 person know about that. So let's take a step back and let's check what is LM, the basic of basic. So LM stands for a large language module, which now we have also small language module, promoted by NVIDIA, which I think is also a good choice for this. So a large language module that can understand and process human language input, which means if I come and tell my AI agent that, hey, today I'm not feeling well, can you find for me a signal to my work? So the LM will actually process this input and translate it, like we translate into tokens and use that to learn, like to analyze your input, and they provide back to you what the step is going to do, and maybe execute the task of reporting to your managers for you on behalf of you. And it's also, the good thing about it is it has APIs. So if you are familiar with OpenAI, GPT-5, GPT-4, Gemini, or Claude, by the way, Claude is awesome for coding. I use it, I must say I use it. And it's like a different level compared to, what you call Copilot. And I used to work for Microsoft, so I'm favor of Copilot, but I have to say that Claude is amazing. So anyway, the LM will analyze in the blog post, in the whole AI agents for scheduling and promoter context. My LM agent will analyze the draft context we're given to it in order to edit, in order to generate the metadata, and in order to create a social post for promoting it. And the next thing is, what is the LangChain? So the LM itself, you can consider it's like a brain of a human. The LangChain is like a body of the human. Okay? So LangChain is an open source orchestration LM framework. What it means behind the scene is it just provides a layer for you to actually build the chaining, build the body of your AI agent together with all the tools, the data source, and the LM you've chosen to make it become a fully functional agent. And it also provides some flexibility, so in case you want to add something, you can add it by yourself. And this is an example of how the LangChain's flow looks like for an AI agent. It has a lot of tools, adapter that you can use to hook into your application. And the next one is MCP. You probably heard a lot about MCP this, MCP that. So what the heck is MCP? MCP stands for Module Context Protocol. It's not a framework, it's not a layer, it's just a protocol, which means it's a design pattern that helps you to create some sort of architecture that is scalable, which means it's scalable and standardized so that you'll be able to add in more functionality to your LM agent. Instead of building, let's say, thinking about it, usually when you build a normal AI agent, you have to define which is the step. Let's say I want the AI to report for my sick day. I actually have to write myself an API that connects to the HR system and define which part of the step in the chain for my LM agents to report the sick day and to manually trigger the API call to the HR system to report it. With MCP, you remove this whole complexity. So you just need to make sure that you provide the server, the proper connections to the HR API system, and then the LM will know how to handle that. So how does it look? This is an example of the system using LM design pattern. So the MCP, we have three. So for MCP design pattern, we have three main components here. The MCP host, which is run by an LLM, usually a Cursor, if you're working with Cursor, or I don't know, Claude. You can also build your own host. You don't have to use Cursor. And this host will have several MCP client. MCP client is the instance, the portal, that the only job it does is to open a portal, connection portal, to the MCP server. The MCP server is the third one, the third component. The MCP server is the server that will talk to different data source and talk to the different API tool, and then it's like an abstract layer that actually will define what the API is doing, which function to trigger if you reach to this task, like this tool. So the LM, which is the MCP host, will use this client, decide according to the prompt that you provide to it, which MCP server to talk to, and which task or which tool is within the MCP server to trigger in order to complete the task given to you. Got it? I mean, it's a very, very complex thing to think of, but I hope it's clear. Anyway, so this is the architectures of my AI agent, what's it called, promoter and scheduler. I still haven't thought of a name, so it's always make me feel it's a bit hard for me to name to give it a full name. Anyway, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 layers in my architecture in the high level. The first layer is the input. So what the input I gave to the LM agents is the markdown drafts that I save it in GitHub repo. So once I ask the LM to schedule my post, what it does is it will get the input from the GitHub repo. It will try to enhance the draft. It will generate all the metadata. And of course, based on the context, the input, it will generate social media post contents to promote it. And the return from this is the contents already in an array or a JSON file. And then it will pass to the legend layer. The legend layer implements the MCP layer context. Basically, not context. Legend layer will implement the MCP pattern and provide several adapter. So we have here GitHub adapter, which will talk to GitHub MCP. Dev2, well, luckily they have an API. So for Dev2 API adapter, which probably you need to write your own MCP, but it's not a problem because they have also API. So just need to write a wrapper for it. LinkedIn API adapter. Schedule, this is for posting to LinkedIn. Schedule adapter, this is using Netlify MCP server. And X API adapter for posting to Twitter. And status notification adapter is for telling you what is the status of the job. So you want to know whether your post is published successfully, right? And all of that will output to the user, which is output layer. The GitHub adapter will make sure that I communicate with, communicate with my GitHub repo to make a commit, and then trigger Netlify build to deploy a new version of my portfolio with my new blog post. The API, Forum API adapter will make sure I cross-posted automatically to Dev2 platform. The LinkedIn and the XAPI adapter will post my post to LinkedIn and Twitter. The schedule adapter will make sure that my post is scheduled and will run the GitHub adapter on time. And the status notification adapter will in charge of email to me at the end of the publishing process. So this is the whole architecture at the high level. Okay, so another technical part here. I work with a lot with sequence diagrams. So this is how the flow will look like. So in the beginning, when we start, the user will send a prompt to the server. By the way, the server here, you can make it into a serverless functions that hosted on Netlify or Vercel. It's up to your choice. You can also make a full-scale server in Heroku. It's up to you. So I will say, oh, you can also make a local server. So I send a prompt to the server saying, please publish my whatever article on this day and promote it on, let's say, LinkedIn. The server itself will take this prompt, clean it, add more stuff into it, according to what I defined in advance, to make sure that the host with the Gemini, I'm using Gemini LM, but you can choose anything you like. Can also be GPT, can also be a Llama. And the host with the LM will start to analyzing the prompts and define the task. So it will define the task, start by querying the post by title or ID were given through the prompt of the user. And this will talk to the GitHub MCP server, which using the adapter that we said before. And then the GitHub MCP server will talk to GitHub and return the post content. And then this is the input for the LLM to start the next task. So the next task, the host will also create the thread with contents for Dev2, which using the Dev2 adapter. Get back the thread detail, including the post ID and the status and so on. And from the context it receives, it also generate the content for social media. Because for each social media, you need to define which link you go into to share. Either the one to your portfolio or you're going to use the one that you cross-posted. So when it generates the content for your social media, let's say LinkedIn, it will return back to the user the status and on the social media drafts, and ask the user to confirm. And this you can actually define like a feedback saying that they maybe edit the social media draft according to what you want so that it wouldn't sound like an AI. And then the happy part here is that you confirm it, nothing, all good, we can go. So the user will confirm with the server that this is what it wants to do. The server will trigger a publish method that talks to the LM, and the LM will start to schedule an async event on that day using Netlify MCP server. And that action or that task will return an event ID. And then the LM will use that to make a commit to the GitHub MCP server with the cross-post ID, the scheduled day, the event ID, in order for me, if I want to change the schedule day, I can refer to this blog post and ask it to change the ID and also change the async event was saved in Netlify server. Okay, and then once they make the commit to save to GitHub, to GitHub repo, we get the status, and then they have two things we need to do here. One is send the email with the detail to using SendGrid MCP server, which is a free email marketing tool. Well, not so free anymore because Twitter bought it, but you can use it if you don't send too many email. And also return back the status to the UI to the user for me to see that, okay, this is what happened here. And then on the day that was scheduled, it would do everything. The Netlify server will handle the rest, like trigger the jobs to post here, post there, and anything like that. So that's the whole flow. In this one, we have the first scenario. When we edit the post, we get the post, we do the cross posting, and we generate the content. And the second one is when we promote the post. Okay, and this is how the demo look. We good. So here I have the draft, I select the day, and then I also select to post on LinkedIn. It generates something, I don't like it, so I start to edit it, provide more context, and then I complete, and then I confirm. When I confirm, it will make a commit, and then if you refresh, you can see here it become a draft. It posts to Dev2, and it posts for me on LinkedIn. That's all it takes. So, and of course, it sent me an email with all the detail. And with that, what again, I save a lot of hours. Now I just need to finish my writing, open the UI, either using Cursor, create some rules and connect to it, or I have my own local server running because a lot of this STD in, STD out. So it's more safe for me to do it locally. So so I save a lot of hours for posting. I can actually create a consistent publishing. But say I want to do it on Wednesday, I can always do it on Wednesday. I don't have to remember myself. And I don't need to be online. The AI needs to be online. I can focus on work. And lastly, I don't have to focus on manual tasks anymore. I reduce the friction significantly, and I can always focus on writing. So what next? Okay. So, well, AI agents is a tool, and it can always be improved. Some part of it is that the MCP protocol is not fully secure yet. So that's one of the things that need to explore, how you're going to host it on the server, how you connect to different MCP servers safely. Maybe adding feedback loop, making it smarter by adding it to decide what post to post, or even do more testing to make sure that the content, the social content is generated correctly and professionally enough. And all of this are what the next step going to be. And that's it. My name is Maya Chauvin. I'm a lead software engineer at Salesforce. Been in the front end and full stack for many years. I'm also book author. That's why I don't want to waste my time on all these tasks. And this is my book. It only translates to Chinese Mandarin. So that's it. Thank you very much for joining my talk.